are in the vintage room of the Workmans Club doing a pre-gig interview with the rather wonderful Cat Dowling. So Cat, thanks so much for coming along to say a quick few words with us.
Delighted. Thanks for having us. Always good to see you, Dave.
Thank you, honey. You say all the right things. Always, always, always. So you're playing with us on the 13th of August, Cat, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But before that, I want to bring you right back to 2002. A little venue called the Isaac Butt. Do you remember it?
I do.
And a wee band called Babelfish. And I went along to see us around then, I think. Yeah. And so this was your initial band, Cat. And I remember the first thing I noticed was that you were doing the door. So you're very much a woman of the people, the multitasker. Is that your philosophy? Is it to be involved in everything?
I am. Do you know? I'm obviously have socialism in my veins. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I actually found out that my great grandmother got evicted from the land, so I must have some sort of a. So yeah, for the people.
It's all falling into place there. Yeah, and you know, Kat, you've done a solo album and you've done 2 Alpha States albums in between, but you've kept the same guys all the way. Because if I remember correctly, you had the good old Jerry Horan playing guitar and Stevie Flanagan on bass. Yeah, yes, so you're still jamming with those guys?
Yeah, he's still interesting. And I have another one coming, and I know what you're saying. And actually, I had this conversation with Jerry there recently. We were just talking about that, and literally, he might have mentioned the 13 years. I kind of think with my next album, I'd love to experiment, try different stuff out, because I've always done the drums, bass, keys, whatever, and I'd love to maybe just do something. I might bring in a string player, but maybe a couple of different. I just want to do something a little bit different. Yeah, I'm ready for that.
It's funny, I was listening to Maiden Sand, and just to quickly let people know the chronology, we first of all had Babelfish, and we managed to dig it out last night, so they're the first EP. Does that bring you back?
It does.
Hang on to that for a second. And then we dug out Alpha States, made of Sand as well last night, which is an absolutely superb album. Yeah. And for the first time today, listening to it in the car after about 10 years, I discovered the hidden track.
I'm ashamed to say that was my idea, to put that hidden track on it, and I should that shouldn't have been a hidden track. That should have been.
It's a superb track, and there is some cello at the very end of it. Yes. So there you go. You did do strings.
I did, yeah. And I'm not even saying just strings, but I have an idea in my head. I'd like to, do something a bit different.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kat, since 2002 or whenever the hell it was, you had Babelfish, then you went on to Alpha States. You were kind of the darlings of the Irish media, the music media, for a while. I remember seeing your lovely face on the front of Hot Press and stuff like that. And did it really take off for you in Ireland, and did it take off abroad, or what kind of really happened there?
Do you know, it's funny. I remember back then, I think that literally we had a song and an act and music, and I barely knew how to play the guitar, and we were so green. And it's almost like, everything took off, and you kind of didn't. It was the first thing that I ever did, put out, in fact, and record labels were coming at us, but there was very much a DIY vein in Dublin at the time, so it was like, no. Anybody that offered help, and people were trying to manage, I don't even think I noticed. I was quite green. I was like, it was no, you'd shoot independently and all the rest of that. And I think it almost... We learned, we talk about learning hands-on. Yeah. Do you know the way? Yeah, that's how it was. We were almost unprepared in a bizarre way, but look, we've just put it out. And I remember, I think I sent 2 copies in to 2FM and to Today FM. I don't know where the hell's, or wherever, and no idea what I was doing. And suddenly they were all over the airwaves, and you just thought, oh, that's what happens. That's what happens when you, you know what I mean? It's as easy as this. Or I don't even think we knew how. It's funny, I've met people who I really admire, musicians, and I've come up and said that was their favourite album, and I'm going, really? It's mad, stuff that you find out later. Yeah,
it's so interesting, isn't it, the way you're almost not involved in all this activity that's going on all around you.
It's even going on.
Yeah, absolutely. But since then, Alpha States, I think, broke up around 5 years ago. I think I remember being at your last gig in Whelan's, actually, if I remember correctly, and that was a wonderful, wonderful night. And it was kind of rather sad, but then I saw you coming back with The Believer about, 2 years ago now, and with Jerry and with Stevie, and that went down really well as well. So was that a similar kind of experience, or was it more mature in its development and in its production, its PR and all that kind of stuff, or was it still old-fashioned Cat?
It's old-fashioned, chaotic. I think what it was, I think I was more confident with the last album, and I think, but really, which is quite sad, but look, that's just, I think I didn't realise, I was always trying to hide myself in Alpha States. I was trying to be something different. I didn't think that, people say you have a great voice, but I didn't think it. I was trying to disguise myself, whereas I felt much more Cat Dowling. This is me, this is a lot more me, and this is what I sound like, and this, there's nothing else I can be. And it's kind of more maybe without, not honest, twee honest. I mean, I didn't have to disguise myself anymore. So, and even with the new stuff I'm doing, I just feel like writing really good songs and lyrics, and that's what it's about. But all the rest is just fodder on the outside. It's got to be
right. Yeah. And Catherine Dowling has now turned into Cat Dowling, and listening to the records over the last couple of days, I was thinking there's three kinds of songs. There's the very personal songs, there's the kind of abstract songs, and then there's the stories about other people songs, you know. And now has Cat Dowling moved into being more personal, more the storyteller, or how would you describe yourself? Or is it possible?
That's a really good question, because I would think now, maybe because although I'm probably quite private in one way, so sometimes when you put yourself out there, you almost, I think you don't want to, I suppose, music is about, people got to get something from it. And you're kind of putting yourself out there in front of a stage anyway. So I quite like abstract, but with this, sometimes when you tell someone else's story, you're still talking about yourself. But it's almost easier to tell it from someone else's story. But I always think any songwriter, even the Tom Waitses, and they're always talking with someone else, it's really coming from them as well. But they're just using other people to tell their story.
Sure.
And I think that maybe a little bit, and this new album is probably what I'm doing there as well.
Okay, which brings us right up to date then. So tell us a little bit about the new album. What's in the offing? When are we going to see it? Who's on it? Etc. etc. Tell us whatever you want.
Okay, I have, and I'm so excited because Jeremy RSAG is doing drums on it. I have Maria, who's done strings. She's just a phenomenal player. She's played with all the greats. She's on it, and Jerry obviously is on it. Carl is on it, and Stevie's come in to do one or two tracks. And I'm like, I'm playing a lot of piano on it myself. I like stripped back. And again, I'm just, it's getting time to finish it, but I'm really pleased with what I have. And I don't want to overload it with production. I just think, there's too many songs everywhere. It's all production. And it's funny, I'm listening to a lot of Foles, and their production's amazing. But I just think it's all about the song. The song. It's got to be the song, whether you sing it naked with nothing else, or you have whatever else you want to have with you. It must stand up on its own. That's what I think.
Okay, so is it a kind of quite a departure from even The Believer, Cat, do you think?
Yeah, I'd say there's a bit more rhythm on it. I think there's, a bit more rhythm.
Okay, so. And you're bringing Carl all the way back from Alta States back in.
It's funny, he's come in, well, he's does a little bit of, engineering, and I kind of, when you have an old friend, somebody you trust.
Yeah.
So, but I'm really trying to, I suppose, trust your own production as well. But I really am excited, and I like it, and it's about the truth. It's about exactly, no nonsense. That's what I'm into. Yeah.
Okay. So are we singing now, is it Cat Dowling, the person that you're singing about now? Because a lot has happened to you, Cat, in the last 5 years. We were just talking on the way in. You got three Waynes waiting for you at home to come back and put them to bed and all that kind of stuff. And, obviously that changes you as a person quite a lot,
It does.
And do you find you express yourself now more through your songs? Do you sing about your kids? What's
I would say I have a desperate need as a human being to be creative, and if I'm not, it's almost like someone strangling me. Mm-hmm. So I've always done art because I really have had this unbelievable need to do it. So whatever it is, and I think when you have small children, you kind of become an adult. You go from being a child, you have to mature really, really fast. It's not much time for fucking around, but I just find that my time I try and grab little moments, and I kind of, I suppose, my life has probably always been slightly chaotic anyway. That's just as we were talking about, but that's cool, and that's probably where the creativeness, that's that streak in me, which I have to. And even now, since having kids, I kind of know that even more than ever, for them, for the world, for me, that I have to keep expressing creatively.
Okay. Yes, and so on the 13th of August, of course, we have a great lineup, and it's an all-female led lineup as well. We have yourself, obviously, and we have Audrey Fay, who's leading up Grace Wild, and then we have Niamh, who's leading up Silent Interlude. So it's going to be a great night of female-led singers. And what I was going to, Kat, I was going to say, you were down in British Bay for the last 3 weeks, taking time out, right? Being in the wilds or something.
Yeah, not quite British Bay. It was actually Silver Strand, little cove. It was lovely.
Yeah. So did you get a chance to sit around a campfire and just kind of jam out some songs and that kind of stuff? And
that sounds beautiful. That'll be for the next trip. Yes, there was a guitar there. My Gibson J50 was there, and you're always kind of inspired. I always have this kind of romantic notion of having this beautiful notebook, which I always do, but I can't find them, or a quail pen, and you're able to jot down lyrics, because you have an iPhone, and there's something that's a little bit clinical. I don't like the iPhone feeling, but at least you can always find your phone. So
You could always write in the sand, of course, and then it'd be washed away in the morning, but you'd have to remember it with your mind. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. So on the 13th of August, what are we going to expect? Are you going to have a full band?
I'm going to have, again, that's I'll have a couple of musicians with me. I'll keep it a surprise for the night, but it will be really good. I'm going to play some new songs, and I'm going to play some old songs, and I'm just going to get up and just do the thing, as they say, and have fun, have loads of fun.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, we're really looking forward to it, Cat. And in the meantime, it's been way too short, but we're going to get a song from you in just a little while. So in the meantime, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you on the 13th of August in the Workmans Club. Thanks, Cat.
It's not too late.